Hello everyone and welcome to the Green Man channel. Hope you're doing good and well. So time for the second album review of this Saturday. And this time I'm reviewing the debut album from an Italian shoegaze band called Glazyhaze. And this is their release Just Fade Away, which came out back on the 19th of May earlier this year. And the album is 10 tracks and about 38 minutes in length. I'm only reviewing this album now because I only listened to it quite recently and just fancied doing a review of it. It's kind of bucking the YouTube trend, I guess, of reviewing albums very shortly after their release, but I thought, why the hell not? And principally in this band, you've got two band members, Irene Moratuzzo, who is the vocalist and bass guitarist. I think she also does some guitar work from what I've read. And you also have Lorenzo Dalla Melina, who is the lead guitarist and doing backing vocals. They're the two principal band members on my laptop screen behind me. But you also have a few others involved, I think, in the production and the recording of the album as well, and some of the performances. So yeah, this is an album, very kind of defined sounding album that doesn't move too far out of the parameters of its own kind of sound, if that makes sense. It's very shoegazy, very Dreampop-esque, has lots of those kind of lead guitar, single notes, throughout the album. And that's something I'd say about the album, is it can feel a little bit samey, but something I would say that, on a real positive note, no pun intended, is that the tone of all the component parts of this album, the tones of everything sounds really, really nice and really well mixed together. So the tone of the vocals, the tone of the bass guitar, the tone of the drums, the tone of the lead guitar notes, all of it just sounds really nicely packed together. And so what you have is an album which is very easy to kind of get in the mood, if that makes sense. It's very easy to get into the mood of this album once you start listening to it and to sort of go into a bit of a daydream, because it has just this really nice, entrancing kind of a sound. So another thing, as I say, I really like the vocalist's vocal delivery, Irene Moratuzzo, which is perfect for this style and this sound. She reminds me a bit of Mickey Bereni from Lush, for any Lush fans out there. And this may well be an album you want to check out, actually, if you like Lush, because I think there are some similarities. They also remind me a bit of another Italian shoegaze band called Be Forest, who are also very atmospheric and kind of similar in execution and style to this particular group. So let's go into the tracks a little bit more. So you've got Ouverture, which is the opening track, very atmospheric, some spoken word stuff going on. Gets you in the mood of the album, doesn't really do much else, and then goes into second track, The Shadow of Your Smile, which for me, being the sort of one of the first tracks on the album, was a little disappointing. I don't mean that I disliked it. I didn't dislike it at all. I thought it was quite good, but it didn't really develop too well for me or do anything much, which is part of the issue with a few tracks on this album, but particularly this one, because it's early in the album, I feel I need something a bit more that I'm going to really get into and immersed in and engaged in to keep me on the ride for the rest of the album. But the album did start to get really good, I thought, from track 3, Tears, which has some great vocal layering and harmonies, good drum and bass work. Thought it just had a little bit more to it in terms of the song itself and the songwriting to get me a bit more into the album by this point. Where the album got really good, though, and I thought it was where I was much more involved generally, was the middle portion. That's tracks 5, 6 and 7. So track 5, Sense of Me, which upped the tempo a bit more, some good drum fills and stuff going on. Track 6, Haze, was a great track, and this had the best vocal moments for me on the album. Really lovely sounding vocal layers and changes, and a really atmospheric moment that kind of makes you feel like you're in a sort of slow motion flashback kind of a moment. Really, really beautiful. Wouldn't sound out of place in a good film, to be honest, that song. And the 7th track, which was A Glimpse of Light, sounded a bit like a Pink Shiny Ultra Blast track. Now, being a massive fan of that band, I guess, and one particular album of that band, I was suddenly like, okay, this is what I really want to hear. These last 3 tracks, this middle portion of this album, I would like more of this. Still don't mind the odd slow tempo, very dreamy track atmosphere, where atmosphere is the focus, but bring in more of these kind of variations. Still don't need to radically change the sound or anything. I don't think this band need to change the formula that they are working with much at all. It's just some slight changes I make, maybe, a bit more songwriting and a bit more development. You'd have a really great album here for me. And I really also liked the final track on the album, which is called The Other Side, which is the lush kind of track, where it goes more shoegazing, more actually into My Bloody Valentine territory with the delivery, the sound of the wavy guitars and everything. And that was a really good way to finish the album as well. A little bit kind of grungy too, right? A little bit of a grunge sound going on at the very end of the album too. So actually overall, I think the album just needs a bit more strumming. If you get a few more chords, and you would have a pretty cool, a really, really good shoegaze. As it is, I'm going to give this a 7 out of 10. I think it's worth a listen, particularly if you veer towards this kind of a style. So if you're like me, you love jangle pop, you love shoegaze, then I think you will enjoy this. If you don't enjoy that kind of sound, you may find this a little bit tiring quite quickly. But again, maybe be patient with it, because as I say, that middle portion of this album, I think, is the best part of it. So I give this a 7 out of 10. I think it's worth a listen. Otherwise, for me, that's the second of the 2 album reviews. So until the next time, until the next video, don't forget, drop a like and subscribe if you need to like and a sub, a scrub. A like and a scrub if you're new to the YouTube channel. No, that sounds really weird. A like and a sub if you're new to the YouTube channel and you enjoy this kind of content. Until next time, otherwise, everyone, bye for now.